get it straight. Let me get it straight. Yeah, this thing is tripping right now. Okay. Okay, I like the beat. Uh. Welcome, 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 welcome. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me get myself set up real quick. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm live, baby. Playing Vampire the Masquerade, yeah. Coteries of New York, you don't explain that. Because it's gonna be a game I never played. You know that I do this all day and every day. Yeah. Alright, I'm done. just a little small something. But welcome to B-Rhy Express. Caught alive, been a minute. What's up, Jen, my friend? How you doing? Bars. Appreciate you coming through. Hope you've been fine. Yeah, I know it's been a minute, but you know I already know my real one's gonna come back. So I hope you're doing well, Jen. How's your day been going? How's your week been going? How's life? Go on and find it here. By the way, y'all, if y'all have not yet, make sure y'all check out my latest video I put up for my channel. It's Mortal Kombat 1, the beta time that I had with it. So hope you check it out. Hope you enjoy it. Had fun editing it. You know, it's a pretty good video. Hope you enjoy it. Check it out. But enough of that, because we jumping into Vampire the can't even say it. The Masquerade. Going great. How about me? Doing good. Doing pretty good. Can't complain. I'm just a little tired, but you know, we shake that off. We shake that off like Taylor Swift. Shake it off like Taylor Swift. Yeah. We shake it off like Taylor Swift. Yeah. Shake it off. A shake. Start doing the Harlem Shake. Shake. Let me stop. I'm a little too crunk right now. I need to calm down. Alright, we just letting people know that the stream is live. Alright, let's get into it. Let's get it. Gonna start a new save. Who we gonna be? The B-Rhy, the rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. We can be Ventru, the aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, sovereignty, and control. Oh, this is just a clan we joined. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. Or we can be Toreador. The divas seek thrills of art, romance, and cruelty amidst stagnant undeath. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. See, that sounds more of my speed. You know, I feel like I'm a tormented artist. Rebel against the powers of rage of authority. I mean, that's cool and all. Been a blue blood, I ain't got no money like that, so that can't be me. We're gonna go with the Toreador. Lamar? That's your name, sir? We're gonna go with B-Rhy. Okay, we can't put dashes in it. That's fine. You know what? In that case, then, can I put a space in between? No, I can't. Fine, video game. Ah. Oh, but the music were about to give me. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit, that we are all designed of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers, of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now. By the way, fate, you decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a ninth grade. She was a ninth generation kindred, just like you, and an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human excellence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? What's up, Raid? How you doing? Appreciate you coming through. How's your day? How's your life? Tell me some about you, and I'll tell you some about me. Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, and a message saying you're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your servants. This almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, just her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. Not doing good, man. Getting killed and getting back alive every week at school. Oh, tell me about it. Tell me about the school situation, because I am definitely in the same boat. That's why I'm tired now. But, just gotta keep pushing through. You'll get there, man. Just keep on trudging. Just keep on trudging. It's like you rowing a boat. Keep on trudging. But, hope you make it through, and all will be well. Because, it's gonna pay off in the long run. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. Oh, there, JFK. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be the day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate, and I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York. 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you still have that meeting on comfortable transport. I value our relationship. Oh, wait a minute. Did I miss something? Meeting, oh yeah. I understand you still have a meeting on 53rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favors you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy asking you to breach the rules of our society like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it, unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities, but in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favor. You're lying to me. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. It's been a slow evening. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate reminds you that If nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met the one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Don't you hate those people? Then there's the say the word, B-Rhy. Slow it down. Obligatory, doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignorable, dubious honor belongs to the one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canopies? Canopies? I don't know how to say that word. Anyway, so many sycophants to meet so little time. For a moment, you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should just take the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation and get it over with. And is as if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought. That's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. Well, let me get this straight. Cushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you? I am. You absolutely despise her as an artist, while you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideas of what art is meant to be. She's perfect in her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on a little-known street art and niche internet memes, she would packages them as bougie-friendly collages. So it's perhaps no wonder the NYT has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. But in spite of all that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcomed her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. No, but seriously, supporting young artists, my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this place, but I doubt it was even a fraction of what it's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was the only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer, then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught dead taking money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, she has attitude, you tell me. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. Ah, good one. As expected of someone who's given up on attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding through the zeitgeist. Johnny Nacho, what's up, bro? How you doing? Appreciate you coming through. She claims to be happily accept the fact that after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. When you respond that you prefer chasing a 1 in a million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before and managed to accept she'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely you move on to more agreeable topics as you plans to finally get hammered together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Hey, Netflix is alright now. They need to stop hating on Netflix. All good lurking in class. Hey, appreciate you coming through, bro. Appreciate that lurk. Hope class goes well. Thanks for being on. Hey, man, you know, I gotta do what I gotta do, man. I sure was thinking about taking a nap, but I was like, you know what? I need to stream. Alright, gotta go. I've got a date. Oh, look at Emma with a date. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men. Not middle-aged men. I guess I am a middle-aged man now at this point. In the expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes they've got in their stale repertoire. I feel that, yes sir. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. Truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst. And the best, you can feel, and the best. I don't know why I said it like that. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put that money in your wallet and move outside. She gave you $100? $100? When you reach your balcony, you look out at New York City and the light, and the second to last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up, but it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The streetlights beckon, more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as a final artwork. You see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Working title, Delusion of Grandeur, the author. A brilliant artistic soul crushed by unfilling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome young man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part, he's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself. Now, people standing in silent awe, the guy like a beacon drawing everybody's. Hushed conversations about the guests that can be heard. I didn't even read the rest of that part, I forgot. Heard from every corner from the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach feeling like a kid trying to close to a deer in the woods, but afraid you're scared away. The man turns to you and you stop in your tracks, entranced. So, this is one of your pieces? You manage to mumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique, and process, the man's eyes lock onto the painting again. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you, but you realize you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You will like what I have to say. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up, like he knows that you won't refuse, that you can't refuse. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment, only one of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in New York City, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony, that you thought about taking the plunge and this time you were only half joking. You feel miserable. You start crying. Oh wow, already? first time at his house now. You don't need to be doing all that. Anyway, he holds you in his arms. You feel calmer. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long, it's been so long since you had last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there is hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is the last thing you remember before passing out, see? Slipped you a Mickey. Got roofied first night. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. Oh yeah, he done took all your blood. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he there? Is he here? Thank God. Yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope, until you realize what he's saying. I'm so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wish you well. Should have just gave him the painting and kept it moving right. You try to speak. You want to go back to the crib with the man. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment the door of the apartment closes behind him, alone again. Then the pain hits. Ugh. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on. A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into a wall, shattering it into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman, inch by inch. The pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see details, the long hair shrouding her face, the worn-out NYC hoodie thrown over her skimpy dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. Oh, she got locks? She a black chick. A rabbit instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweet mix with just a hint of cheap perfume. Wow, why do you have to call that perfume cheap? You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? Hell yeah, you did. She's not moving. Oh God, she's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat. No sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Or maybe he took it. Impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment, but find nothing you can use to call for help. You need to get out of here, now. You look outside the window. You're high above the streets. There's no balcony, and the building exterior is glass almost all the way down. You never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You've just killed somebody. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into unbearable hell. Actually, it's kind of already did that. When you passed out, that was basically the end of your life right there. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does, and the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs and try to break the window when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope comes to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he's sent someone for me? You almost feel like your heart beat again with excitement as the door opens. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you expected. He's tall, broad shoulders, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. Never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his sharper nature. He is a predator. Uh-oh, where's Chris Handsome at? Your name's Chris Handsome, but I call you Chris Handsome. And if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Good evening. I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eye to the lifeless body of the girl in the NYC hoodie and raises an eyebrow. This isn't what it looks like. This isn't what it looks like. Please, you have to help me. That's what I'm here for, after a fashion. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually. If troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you. And you see, they tended to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to go and safe and sound. Then there were the dumb ones, the punks who thought they could take me on, the wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission, the troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. The man talks in a bored professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love basketball, so he's saying Mets fans are not smart people? And it inspired me to come up with a 3-strike system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerves 1 or 2 times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir. Now. You feel an overwhelmingly, barely irresistible urge to fulfill his demand. Fuck you, sir! I ain't gonna do that. We don't know what's going on. I understand, sir. I understand, sir. Excellent. Alright. Have you got anyone you like to inform about your current situation and tell them you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. If you ain't got it by now, you'll never get it. Someone closest to you? Run away. We're not gonna run away. My sister. Emma, my sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artiste friends. Can I call her now? You take out your phone while asking the question. It was in your pocket all along. It must have been panic talking before. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, agreed. Give me her phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her. You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in my illustrating my next point. Instead of giving you back your phone, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. I think that would be more suspicious. What? Oh, if a random person just calls her phone, I know that would be kind of weird. And then tell him that, hey, your brother's fine. You know, he's no vampire or nothing. He's fine. Just don't worry about him. He'll be all right. Only go see him at night. Some random person calling. Yeah, exactly. You are forbidden from letting anybody know you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and them. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. He's fine, exactly. Don't look in the mirror. It's alright. Don't worry about it. So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. See, now you're threatening me. Well, he's been threatening me, so I guess I can't get mad at that. The sight of his fangs, again, and another physical fight or flight response, you've played right into his hands, putting M in danger. Yeah, that kind of sucks. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. By now, you are absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting... Anyway, you'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you. But to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow he makes all of these options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe. The kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 a.m. now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back on you and to unlock the door. Attack him from the back. I'll wait for the police. Hell no, I ain't waiting for no police. It's a dead body in here. We gonna just walk with him. Okay. You obediently follow him out of the room before he locks it again. You manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience. But not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you don't feel guilty even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still wondering if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. Don't look in the mirror, sir. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, you're dazed, and for a glimmer of hope, and eventually come across... You're dazed and confused. I always miss a sentence. You're dazed and confused. Mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope, and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. Yeah, well, we know what happened, but for his sake, what did the man do to me? Why did that man target me? What was their motive? That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace, and it's obvious they are not planning to come back for you. If, and that is a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. Oh, they're gonna kill him. For the last time? What do you mean, for the last time? His face is inscrutable. I said what I said. All I can add for now is, tomorrow is a big night for you. The elevator door opens to an empty hall. You walk outside, past the night guard's post, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man motions to a black Cadillac Escalade. Oh, the man got a black Cadillac. Take a seat in the back, please. You get inside. The man closes the car door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. I feel horrible. As you should. He gives you a little side glance in the rearview mirror and bites his lip. Why are you biting your lip at me? Forgive me. I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry after image of the man who bought your painting is still there. It's strange. You never felt this way about anybody. Yeah, he's your maker. You have that bond now. I know all this from a True Blood. In other words, shut up, right? It makes you happy, even though you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. I mean, he did, like, turn you to a vampire without your consent. But then the girl's hair spilled over the cold floor, spilled over the purple hoodie, and her blood spilled over the cold floor. Comes into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it is if there are no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly, concrete gray thing, empty. But for the car you came in, it looks like there's a room beyond a metal door in the wall. Guess you'll live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and lets you in. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows. Just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC fan in the wall. It is all the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance door. Medical help won't do. Not going in there. Mercy, please. I'm not going in there. Actually, yes, you are. Listen, normally I'd lose my nerve right about now and things will get nasty. But I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you will learn more tomorrow. But now I need you to rest, and you need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contently. Yeah, I don't want to mess with this guy. I feel like this guy is about his business. Look at him. He's serious. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomatoes. Who is this guy? He don't know what happened yet? Tomato soup? No, sir. You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually, when that happens, you turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Oh, now he's speaking my life right here. No skills. Just artistry stuff and video games. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint. Like the painting that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life, and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You're so tired, your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? I mean, yeah. Basically, in the world of vampires, basically, yes. You're not sure about that, but you are certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its color and texture are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. It's not soup. Holy shit! There's no mistaking it. It's bag blood. Dun dun dun. Like we didn't know. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating. But now it's almost, no, not almost. It is enticing. Put the bag back. Drink the blood. The soup is bad. I mean, this is to eat. We need to eat. We're gonna drink the blood. We're vampires now. You gotta drink the blood, man. It feels wrong, but right now, there's barely anything in your life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland. Reminds you of cheap supermarket juice. Ugh. Just enough flavor to register as what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Oh, you tell me about it. That juicy juice. Nothing like what you had had the last time. Oh, you want real fresh blood. I see you. You swallow it. Somehow, you don't feel sick. In a weird, messed up way. You can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips, and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually, you find that you've emptied it entirely. All. You look at the info impressed into the side of the bag. 450 milliliters of it. Even with this blandness, you still feel like having more. You realize your body longs for that intoxicating high you felt when an image of that corpse crossed your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You try to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed man, the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again. Oh, he's dressed in the 9 yards. That predatory look. Like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tame hawk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? He notices the discarded emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Was that really blood? Am I still a human? Come on now, don't ask these. Got any more? I did. Got any more? No. And don't expect sustenance to be this easy to find the next time. Come on, we've got places to be. He looks just as pissed as he did yesterday. Right, that bitch face he got on him right there never changes. That resting bitch face, that's what it's called. Like he is definitely unapproachable. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot, just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it politely, but with a stern look on his face. Why are we still trying to think about rushing this guy? He's been cool with us right so far. Hijack the car? Look, just get in. Okay, lead the way. After you. You take the back seat again. The door is locked. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while. From time to time, you keep trying to catch glimpses of the familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows. But it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engine. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked, all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There's nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realize now that you're hungry? No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of the head. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realize you prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe. Wait. You know exactly where you are. The nice-looking two-story building has a logo you immediately recognize. The Art Hole, an avant-garde gallery used to hold the collection of bag viscera and body parts. Anyway, you can't quite remember the guy's name. He's Brazilian, you think. Fabio, something or other. After me. No sudden movements, please. You've never been inside, not quite your style, but the place has quite the cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you got into. Two large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual at this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the wall or the atmosphere. And the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to praise your worth. Where are you taking me? Am I getting bidded on? Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you, impassively or decisively, through your art? You share a piece of yourself with the world, and it responds by making you feel like garbage. Oh, man, that's being an artist, all right. It always took a lot of effort not to lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. That's what I'm talking about. Now, looking around, it feels like you've become another artwork as commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy, out-of-touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. Makes me wanna scream. Good evening, Queda, and to you, child. The noble, cold voice takes you out of your head and back into the situation at hand. The gallery, a crowd of strangers, you being brought here against your will, for what purpose? The room awaits your response. Quaidar, huh? So that's your name. Quaidir? You are being addressed by the Princess of New York, Helene Panhard, child of Michaela. Turn your eyes to her when she is speaking. Thank you, my sheriff. I am capable of introducing myself. She is somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. Oh wow, I ain't doing nothing though. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our loyal sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Just be cordial. My sire? Wait, my sire? My sire? You mean the man I met at the gallery? That's one of the things we're here to ascertain. You're about to be judged by the court of New York City. Kadir, please, Kadir? How am I say his name? Kadir, I guess. Kadir? Please tell us how you found this fledging and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society? Make-believe? He's still delusional, this guy. A trusted informant who has chosen to remain anonymous at this point tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledging remained in their place. Interestingly, his sire made use of an older haven of one of the clan of the Rose for their embrace. They were even thoughtful enough to leave a local woman for the fledgling. Okay, fledgling is the word. Fledgling to slake his thirst on. Despite some reservations, he offered little resistance last night and cooperated on our way to the safe house. I was pleased not to have forced his compliance. We had a quick chat, but, wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. Hey everyone! What's up, Doc? How you doing, sis? Hope your day is going well. Appreciate you coming through. My day is going good. I'm enjoying this little vampire story that we've just recently got turned into a vampire. Big whoop. You know, big surprise. This guy, I guess he's part of the committee trying to make sure that the new breeds are, you know, taken care of. So hopefully we don't get killed. We're meeting the queen of vampires, I guess. The queen vampire of New York. But yeah, it's quite interesting so far. His thirst partially slaked with the bagged blood we kept in the safe house. We had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. All eyes are on you again. You take a special interest in one of their faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair, and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some bespectacled man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she, you wonder? Glad you're doing good, Doc. Work was fine today, I presume? Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behavior, and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there is the matter of your sire. The person who brought you where Kedar picked you up from last night? Who were they? Yeah, work was chill. It'll be busier tomorrow. Oh, okay. Well, that's what's up. At least it was chill today. You know, Mondays are kind of rough sometimes. He was a beautiful man. He was really into that dude. He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, a sort of artistic mess, had an accent I couldn't recognize. He took notice of my art, bought a piece in fact. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntary. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you've ever felt. Maybe even love? You're just confused, guy. You're just confused. You know, it's your maker. He makes you. You're in love because he made you. That's what True Blood taught me. I'm gonna keep referencing the True Blood because that was my show. Any fans of True Blood in here? I was a big fan of True Blood. That's my shit. I need to rewatch it, actually. I need to get the DVDs. Talking about DVDs. Who watches DVDs anymore? I need to download it from off the internet. No, that's idiotic. He's never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? My mom used to watch it, but you was too young at the time. Oh, it's a great show, Doc. You should definitely have to go back and check it out. And he didn't want nothing to do with you, apparently. Right! Just gonna turn me and leave? See, that's why I have abandonment issues now. But he did leave me some food. So, you know, he cares a little bit. That's the toxic relationship. Give you enough just to reel you in and make you think he care about you. Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. He bought my painting, you can track him. That guy, he bought my painting at the gallery. Didn't pay in cash, I think. Maybe you can track him that way. Oh? Did your outlook on him change all of a sudden? He smirks, seemingly enjoying your misery. Personal jabs aside, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom, and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all that talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches you, the two of you. Sophie. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know what the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to strain your hands tonight after all. Her words grabs his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. Well, you don't need the sword now. Come on, Kadir. We can speak through this peacefully. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you're left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. We know what the sword is about. What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault. But if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Finally, somebody told him. 'Cause he was really... Tomato juice? Is this what I'm drinking? Tomato soup? I bit this lady's leg for no reason. Wait, what? He still doesn't know. Oh yes, I am well aware of how... I'm well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred, being embraced. Having a sire, the fact remains. Bless his heart, please bless him. Please bless him, Lord. The beings called vampires. You're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in a hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned. Your heart remains still. Even saw the man's fangs that he kept showing him. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. And you're saying we're still in denial, right? One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck?" on repeat. That'll be me. That'll be my saying in my head. What the fuck? All I did was sell my art to somebody, and next thing I know, I'm back home, turned out. Back at their apartment, turned out. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeps keeping you in the dark at the end all. If we do nothing, you'll be cut down as sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Kadir will work in your favor. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. I don't know if I trust this lady. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. Well, if I don't refuse, of course I will be killed, right? If I don't want to die, and if I agree, what do I have to do for her? That's a good question. What happens if I agree? Suppose I say yes. What happens then? You survive, hopefully. Or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. Kadir does, and like I said, resting bitch face for Kadir. He does not smile. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved, oriental-looking metal scabbard fastened with a colorful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes center stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City, Camarilla, gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this is not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn our ire. I do feel a genuine sorry for what must be done. We are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and their traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent when our very existence is under constant threat. Although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man whose skin has somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over this fledgling's fate, and I declare that while their embrace might be the sire's responsibility, in their absence it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound that the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. It is a beautiful detailed blade which you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the night. Where did I get the first 2 outs at? Come on, Kadir, you're playing me now. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. You make your choice. I don't want to die. Spare me, please. Prince, if I may ask if you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer? Kadir looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at the moment's notice. Is that something you like to say, Miss Langley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a little while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elites suddenly look at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a few steps forward, all eyes on her now, but Kadir's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of this distraction. My prince, while in the traditions are clear, I believe the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of the laws. This fledgling is a burden, but with proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. Am I to understand you are volunteering to take this sireless child under your protection? Yes, I happen to think that they might hold a potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again. Incredulous voice or two. A hush, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence! I ask all of you to make a note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favor, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I'm willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in the time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if it pleases you. Remain silent. It's clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death, or second death apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd, not eyes wide shut. The prince looks at you as if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to Camarilla, substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? B-Rhy, Prince. She nods. Welcome to Camarilla, B-Rhy. Now, this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for your appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince. He shoots you a side glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. Resting bitch face. You will be watched. You will be judged. and, if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, B-Rhy, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises her hand at one of the well-dressed showroom to refill the guest's glasses. The conventionally handsome man approaches with a carafe of red liquid. He pours it into the two tall glasses. It's blood again. That much is clear. You're in two minds about drinking it, but the memory of the last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this one you can actually savor. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cozy cabin in the woods. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very bougiest ideas about good blood should taste like, about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. How much do I have to drink? Where do you get blood? Does blood taste matter? The more important question, where do you get it? It's kind of weird that you have waiters serving blood. Where do you get it from? I mean, I guess that kind of was a stupid question. That can be a bit of a touchy topic. Let's just say that most of the blood available at events like this, crowd-funded. Did I get that right? It's hard to keep track of modern language. At any rate, what I mean is that there is a plethora of vessels on tap. As for where to get blood when you're not at Elysium, tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. What you need to know right now is that no matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more, unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, but even that doesn't last. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood is more satiating than most anything that can be served in a fancy glass, but it can make you more voracious. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky, and it will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. You mentioned beast. That beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor, or... Oh, it's quite real. Although not in a strictly physical sense, it lives in all of us. Our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connected to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, seething in all his descendants. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be wary like every other kindred in this city, and beyond. Individual kindred each have a unique relationship to their beast. What's yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the masquerade. The concierge returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with polite smile and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you that she's an artistic soul too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invited you to sit in the back. We can see we riding in style, baby. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Where did we leave off? Ah, I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the masquerade. As you might have gathered from us, assembling at a niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings, and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence. We allow myth and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? Vampire angel? She's talking about, I don't know what she's talking about. I know because what's her name was a fairy, not an angel. But I guess they kind of consider her like an angel? Anyway. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe. Allow us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of the 21st century humanity, and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. I mean, I kind of want to ask that question about the movies. Let's either ask, what's the risk? What's the worst that could happen if you're a vampire? I'm sure you can defeat any threat that comes your way. It would surely make things easier if we could. Unfortunately for us, there are plenty of things that could harm us. Chief among them are sunlight and fire. Both will burn you to ash. That's why we rest during the day. You felt it, I'm sure. That it's more like being dead than being dormant. But we have no choice. We're night dwellers, but day sleepers. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a minor nuisance. Garlic, running water, even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart, though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze, which, under the right circumstances, can often be the same thing. That's a reason to have somebody like my trusted driver, Gregory, making sure you're safe when you drift away. We have many enemies, and they often know their advantage lies with daylight. So it's good to keep a human friends. Do vampires watch each other's backs? So it's vampires versus humans? I mean, of course, yeah. Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Or at least useful? In moderation, and best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience to be broken at a whim. Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince, and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain in the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority. With it comes influence and power if you wish to reach for them. She seems to be lost in thought and falls silent for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions form your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You are in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? Is it another parking lot room? That's my question. Is it another drab safe room in the underground parking lot for my safety and all that? Don't be ridiculous. You're not a sireless fledgling in Kadar's stern grasp anymore, and even he wouldn't hold you there any longer than necessary. I think. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hallway with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening, and you take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. Inside are all the amenities you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable-looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy-looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? What? Can I choose another? Not bad, could use some redecorating. It would be nice to her. This is great, thank you. I'm glad. Make yourself at home. Tomorrow, I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food, either. Feels strange that Kadar could be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seem a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind. The people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when will you have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into the cold sleep last night, you settle into the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows less so. You leave the light bulb on, looking at it, to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades and you take the plunge into darkness again, sinking, sinking, sinking. Hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over it in his desire to feed. To overindulge in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staying at what humanity you have left. In Coteries of New York, having high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen, like the one you see now. Okay? As your hunger grows, so does this indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you'll receive a warning after you complete a piece of story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some other choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Okay. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. You will need to keep your hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Interesting, interesting. Okay. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally you stretch for a bit. On some mornings, you probably throw the quilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing you down. just a nagging need in the back of your head. Thirsty. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time, 9:04. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is NYC's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You missed the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself, but then you come back to the memory of Kadar's exotic sword being raised at the gallery. Right. They already want to kill you. You might want to do what they say. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour, and then switch to the streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony. You catch True Blood! Hey, in the flood of the recommendations. Let's go! Watching my show. The doorbell rings. It's Sophie. Now she's gonna interrupt me from watching True Blood. Good evening, B-Rhy. Slept well? Like a dead man. Like a dead man. Curious wording, but not that far from the truth, I suppose. No use dwelling on it. I think you will agree with time. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desire, and its power. We will begin tonight. You are hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy. The blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So, tonight I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage. Predator and prey, huh? Grim. So let me get this straight. We are predators. Humans are prey? That's pretty grim. I know what you feel. I remember the notion. But you will, inevitably, grow beyond it. You need blood to thrive, but there are many ways to take it, some more humane than others. You'll find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. You might remember this from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation. But if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays. Correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. How do you cover your tracks? Biting people leaves marks, right? And the victims remember your face? You shouldn't concern yourself with leaving marks. These are easy to conceal. You just need to bite carefully and then lick the punctures closed. That's all there is to it. As if being remembered, like I mentioned, the kiss is an ecstatic experience, so kind can barely recall the details. And even when they do, this city is enormous. You can spend days on the streets and not see the same face twice. Use that to your advantage. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out, you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Luckily for you, NYC is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in somewhat of a unique position. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. The busy streets fill the air. with traffic noise, pedestrians chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want, what you need. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thin New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that makes up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize that this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address, and you suspect, same hall. To what ends has it had been repurposed tonight? Come, B-Rhy, park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods, and Sophie gets out. You join her, and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in the few dozen chairs in the front. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through right without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now, let's see here. Ah, there he is. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There's somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is B-Rhy. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. Oh, you know what she wants you to do. Question is the girl in on it or not? You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves you the trouble of figuring out the next step. Oh, see, Julie is already in on it. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're, that you know. She puts her wrists up to her lips and gives herself a theatrical nip, then looks at you, embarrassed, but also hopeful. What, you're into that sort of thing? Just say yeah. Yes I do. She takes off her jacket, unbuttons her sleeve, then rolls it up. You see a tattoo of a cat in the astronaut suit, one feline eye winking at you. There, just enjoy. A perfectly awkward smile and a blush. Sure, go ahead. You take her forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching and no security cameras cover the area. You bite down gently. It's surreal. She's given you her blood of her own violation. How's this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just the taste, sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink, and drink. Uh-oh, and drink. No, stop, stop, stop! You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures. Almost as if by instinct you lit them clean, and the two holes become concealed, just like that. Julia's now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy. She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes, a few tears fall onto her shirt. Tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs, please? My dad, he doesn't know. Thinks it's a condition. Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to the bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly, looking at her now. Only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? She got that mind trick thing they be doing. They make you fall in love with them. Make you enamored with them, I mean. You walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you. But we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with, B-Rhy. Gregory is waiting for you out in the front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl's exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. She knows who we are? I think she knows who we are. That's not normal, right? It's not usual. That much is true. But don't worry. She will do anything I tell her to. And won't say anything to anyone that I haven't put in her pretty head first. Oh, he had her brainwashed, basically. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off. This time, Gregory. Flushing Meadows, please. The driver takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge. You settle your thoughts. What did you do to the people back there? What's this thing about training wheels? Why Flushing Meadows? We're gonna ask him what she do to the people. Those people back at the hall, they were all entranced. Even I was under your spell. What was that? She smiles with satisfaction. That old trick? Just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world in a greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace, and more. Oh, she got the moves. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt. Do I need my powers to hunt? So you're saying that it's best to use these talents when hunting? They are useful, certainly, but their utility is universal. Survival, violence, intrigue. Entertainment and pleasure, too, some nights. What's up, Virgie? You caught alive. Yeah, appreciate you coming through. How you doing, though? Hope your night's going well. Hope the baby's doing fine. Hope Mango is alright in the streets, working and whatnot. Or he probably at home by now, huh? Hope y'all doing good. By the way, when next time y'all streaming? I'm waiting for y'all to come back. Always keeps the masquerade in mind. However, it is all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the right place and time. Yeah, he playing Starfield? Oh, I heard great things. I don't have an Xbox, so I will probably not get to play it. But I heard some good things. It only takes you half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both you and Sophie leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find his parking spot and keep an eye on the car. Game ugly to me? No, nah. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight, the stars just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. So this game, we basically just became vampires. This is like our second night. They wanted to kill us because our maker made us and then abandoned us. So we don't know where he's at. They was planning to kill both of us, but this lady, Sophie, she intervened, made sure that we didn't die. So now she's basically our caregiver, our caretaker. So now we're going to go hunting for the first time so we can take somebody's blood. Interesting premise so far. It's your second night as a vampire and they already want to take you out. Oh yeah, they was ready to take us out the first night. As soon as they found out, like the guy that came to kill us came like right after the guy who made us left. Maybe like a few hours later. Alright. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go, look for somebody to your liking. See what the effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim. Just one. Then come back. He thought blood was tomato juice? Right. He was very in denial about him being a vampire. Even though he got coerced to going back to this man's apartment, he blacked out, woke up to a body that was next to him, a woman who was still alive. He ended up drinking her blood just off instinct and still didn't believe that he was a vampire. Like, come on, guy. Get it together. Yeah, he kind of slow. See what the effects you can achieve with your blood. Yeah, you should pick one victim, then come back. Seeing how he seems not altogether here right now, you decide to leave Sophie on her own devices and seek out your prey. From here, it looks like you have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work. But focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby, and worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Or maybe the tennis court nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired and let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in your mind, you realize you're planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts you to act. So, hunt near the decrepit pavilion. That might be the safest way, is to just hunt near the pavilion. Look for prey at the tennis court. Or we could search for a victim around the park. Yeah, let's go to the pavilion. Find one of these winos. Somebody that nobody care about. Make your way to the one of the park's most well-known landmarks. The round skeleton of the New York State Pavilion, with its two vaguely futuristic-looking towers. You don't get lucky with the skate park. It's not deserted. Instead, a group of skaters is gathered there, talking loudly and listening to some music playing out of crackling smartphone speakers. Deciding to have a quick look around, you identify a potential victim, a sleeping bag lady, laying back on a bench, a shopping cart full of what looks like trash nearby. Even thinking of that second option makes you feel sick. You decide to take your chances with the skaters, not even getting close to the homeless woman. Why not, though? You think back to what Sophie did in the hall, how she managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for you, but a single person could be doable. You single out a guy who's talking on his phone away from the gathering. He's having a heated discussion with somebody. A relative? A partner? It's not going well. This talk is over. I said shut the fuck up! Hey, you hearing me? Shut up! Call me when you get some fucking sense in your stupid brain, Kay. He ends the call abruptly and almost throws the phone to the ground in frustration. I don't know who he was talking to, but there was some conversation. He was, shut the fuck up! Let's just talk to him. Rough night? Rough night. He's got an angry expression on his face and tears welling in his eyes, but he gives you a curious look and even a bit of a shy smile. Yeah, you could say that. What's up? What's the best way to bring him closer? I want to see, all this seems predatorial to me. Like, you wouldn't, some random guy, come closer, let's talk. I just got a cure for that. I got a cure for the downer. Nah, I don't believe that either. I want to show you something. Don't believe that either. Guess the best way to do it is come closer, let's talk. Come closer. Let's talk. I think you need somebody to talk to right now, yeah? He takes a few steps forward away from his buddies, who remains totally oblivious to what's happening, but you see your influence is fading. You take the chance and lunge. Oh, the master sound creepy. Exactly, Verg. Your fangs sink into his exposed shoulder. He shivers and lets out a moan. His phone hits the pavement and you hear the casing crack. His blood tastes like a clash of hot emotion and melancholy, laced with some artificial stimulant you can't quite place. An energy drink? A recreational drug? It's a strange mix. You hardly have the chance to savor it as the proximity of the skater friends makes you feel vulnerable. You hastily finish the drinking and drag the guy over to the pavilion. When you turn around, you realize you're not alone. A hooded man is looking menacingly at you. What do you think you're doing, barging in on my turf like this, lick? You know, we're just gonna be like, you know what, I'm going. He looks like he's a vampire too. We're just gonna be like, you know what, I'm going. Didn't mean to trespass. I'm going. I didn't mean to trespass. Sorry, I'm going. Too late for that, friendo. You want to leave here in one piece? You talk candidly. I know what you are, so you can shove that masquerade misdirection up your ass. Now, better tell me who you are, who you're with, before my posse shows up and we beat it out of you. We'll just say Sophie. I'm here with Sophie Langley. I came here with Sophie Langley. She's my patron. Doesn't ring a bell. Sounds fancy though. He licks his lips, exposing his fangs and looking at you voraciously. A nervous tick or an attempt at intimidation? I wonder, what would Callahan do to you if I brought you in, huh? Break your shins? Leave you out to be kissed by the sun? Ooh, concrete shoes maybe. He's old school like that. Run back Sophie fast. So this must be a... We ain't trying to cause no trouble already. This is just our first night feeding. Calling for help doesn't seem like that'll help. Run back to Sophie fast. I wonder, can he catch me? Run, right? You take off fast, faster than you ever run. The hoodlum has trouble keeping up, but howls behind you like an animal and gives chase. Anyway. Attack? I want the smoke. Come on, Bergie. We are in some hot water here. They already talking about rules of the vampire nation, how we can't be, caught up in it with humans and all that. We don't know if this guy's a human. Actually doesn't seem like a human, but it may be a different division of vampires, so we don't know. As you reach the Unisphere again, you slow down, noticing two people near the sculpture, a man and woman tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie, feeding. But this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting intimate in public. See, Sophie doing it the smart way. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to you that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing you, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree. Well, B-Rhy, how'd it go? You're about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of you, and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips. You thought you could run away from me, Lick? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. See, this is when Sophie go show out. I feel like this is when Sophie about to show out. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. His shouts come out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket. Oh, Gregory's trapped too! And slams it into the thug's chest. Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. So he was a vampire. I see you've made a friend, B-Rhy. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? He mentioned a Callahan. He said something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second, then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is Anak, then. Curious, Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kedar tomorrow night. I'm sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the stake vampire and dumps him in the car trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight, and you're quite happy you're not in the poor fucker's shoes right now. It's almost surprising that you can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into your car and driving away. But then you remember that Sophie has been doing that far longer than you have. Still, the nagging thought that anything you did camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills you with dread. Hunting and using your ability is dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it has perks. You're taken out of your headspace by Sophie's voice. I will pick you up tomorrow night. Same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir in The Prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Her voice is cold, cruel, and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. This guy's an asshole. I like to do the same thing in his place? What that mean? Oh, I do the same thing in his place. Nah. What's going to happen to him? The usual, I imagine. Interrogation by Kadir. Probably in the basement of the gallery. A quick trial with the prince in attendance if she's there tomorrow night. A swift execution as the verdict. This all sounds eerily familiar to you, and you can't help but feel a pang of guilt when you think about what awaits this guy tomorrow. They just want to kill all the vampires. Are they saving the vampires, or are they just killing all of them? You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope. I think so, yeah. I think I am. Yeah, I'll cope. I'm glad. She doesn't question you further. She seems distracted. Not all there. Her thoughts drift and the car remains silent until you reach your apartment. We'll pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. Just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory. with a body in the trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did you cross paths with situations like these in the past, unknowingly? What other secrets did you pass on the streets without knowing their true nature? Your haven is just as you left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, you feel tired. You learned something about yourself today, and it'll take time to process. You're not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages you don't speak or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. You settle in the back room, lock the door, a moment of hesitation, but then a decision. This time, you turn the lights off. You think back to Julie. How many people in this city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug you met in the park, if he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. You begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night where you can start crossing them off the list, instead of adding to it. You close your eyes. You sink into the now familiar void of nothingness. It greets you with open arms like an old friend. And we're asleep once again. Interesting. So this is the dictionary. I think we pretty much know everything that's going on so far, so we don't need to go through no dictionary. What's this? Oh, this is just logging in what I've done, basically? Yeah, basically. Okay. Alright. We're probably gonna go until we rest again, and then we'll call it. You open your eyes. It's pitch dark here, the blackness of a coffin drifting in the abyss. Oh, right, the light. You grasp for the switch, flip it. The familiar cramped room with a steel door and no windows come into view. You emerge from the bedroom, fully awake, just like yesterday. This time, however, Sophie is waiting for you, comfortably seated on the sofa in your living room space, a book in her hand. The Melancholy of Resistance, the title's sure on the brand. Good evening, B-Rhy. Good evening, Sophie. I hope you've rested well. Tonight will be quite eventful, I think. Come, we have an appointment. I received word Elysium would be called again tonight on account of your unruly friend from Corona Park. This should be a great opportunity for you to mingle. She keeps talking as you walk downstairs and get in the car. Gregory gives you a slight nod and a small smile while opening the door for Sophie. He starts the car when you take your seat in the back. Most of the Primogen Council is bound to be there. At least those who usually attend. Probably some other important personalities you'd do well to at least learn about. How should I carry myself? You never told me if there's any savoir, I don't know that word, kind of rules I should respect when talking to other vampires. Knowing that you're among your superiors is probably the most important. In our society, status comes with age. Pardon my sincerity, but you are insignificant. Damn! Just tell me about myself, then. Not even associating with me can make the nights not even associate self with me can make the fact that you've been kindred for barely a few nights be forgotten. So know your place, stay out of your superior's business, and show the utmost respect. Thanking the prince for sparing you, and maybe having a friendly chat with Kedar publicly might show your gratefulness for being a part of the Camarilla now. I would suggest you make it sincere. At any rate, you should behave yourself tonight. Remember what I told you about reflecting on me as your patron. I have a reputation to uphold in the court. Do not tarnish it. There it is. She might have saved you. She might be protecting and teaching you, but it's clear what she's really concerned about, her own interests. Oh, no shit. That's why she saved us. No shit. You step into the art hole with something of a bad memory. Last time you were here, your entire world has been turned upside down and your existence nearly ended. But tonight there is a very little outward hostility. Yes, Kadar gives you a look that's definitely intended to remind you of your place. But the prince, also in attendance, seemed pleased to see you. Welcome, Sophie. B-Rhy. Did I get that right? Good evening to both of you. I understand there is somebody else you wish presented to the court tonight? Yes, Prince. They will be joining us shortly. My assistant is retrieving them presently. This better be worth the prince's time, Langley. The prince gives Kadar a cold glance. Forgive the sheriff's harshness. He's in a particularly foul mood tonight. Something to do with B-Rhy's begetter eluding his grasp, I believe. Ouch, that must have hurt his ego, even if his only reply is a crooked smile. The mention of your sire makes you feel a pang of emotion again. Whoever he was, he left a lasting impression, one reinforced with your visit to show space last night. That's the past. When is he never in a bad mood? Exactly. Kadar is just, hey, you just don't mess with that guy. Right now, though, you're back in the gallery, and are reminded of your sister instead. Emma frequents this place. Is she aware of these clandestine meetings after dark? Probably not. The flaring up of whispers in the gallery hall breaks you out of your thoughts. Gregory enters the room, the jumpsuit-clad, inert vampire still staked on his shoulder. The show's about to start. Sophie's driver places his charge in the middle of the room and nods respectfully to Kadir. The sheriff approaches the vampire and removes the stake from his chest. The captive's eyes flicker to life, and he starts looking around in disbelief. Like a cornered animal, he backs out on all fours, keeps going in circles until he realizes he's trapped. Kadir steps on the man's chest and pins him to the floor. Why? Who do you have here? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. No, come on, don't. Silence. The sheriff takes on the aura of utter dread. He appears as if he's a primal force of nature that's out to get you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do but shrivel in terror. Yeah, he has that fear factor. He has that down packed. The beast inside you shrieks, and you could swear it happens in unison with the instincts of some of the other guests here tonight. It's unlike anything you've experienced in his company during your turbulent first nights as a vampire. He really did go easy on you, all things considered. It seems like it takes all of the hoodlum's willpower to not crawl into a fetal position and start crying. No, please, don't hurt me. Man, don't. You and me are going to have a little talk downstairs at the prince's discretion. Please, go ahead, my sheriff. You heard the prince. Get up, let's go. He doesn't wait for a confirmation, he just grabs the man and drags him, kicking and screaming out of the room. Conversations start all around you. Some whispered, some quite overt. Sophie looks somewhat bored of the whole affair, her eyes wandering from art piece to art piece, clearly finding nothing to her particular liking. Torture in an art gallery? For how cultured you all seem, torturing somebody in an art gallery doesn't seem to faze you. Oh please, do keep your naivety to yourself. Power and violence have always been two sides of the same coin. Most of us here are far too old to be bothered with keeping up appearances. Excuse me. Sophie leaves your side and goes to a corner of the gallery, where a group of kindred, some seemingly pretty old-fashioned, gathered. A concierge offers you a drink, still warm, it smells nice. Just a sip to start off, a splash over your palate, coating your tongue and the inside of your cheeks. Nourishment. You're left to your own devices. You have a quick look around. The prince is currently talking to a dark-skinned woman that you recall seeing here those few nights ago. She has a cold but noble countenance to her, Their conversation seems to be casual. A loud, shrill laugh turns to your attention to the bespectacled man who you saw with Sophie on the night of the judgment. He's making the rounds, chatting up with different patrons. You feel somebody's eyes on you. A casually dressed, plain-looking man stands alone near a column watching you. He turns his gaze away sheepishly when he realizes you've noticed. I think the man that is looking at me is a guy who the council don't really care for too much. That's what it seems like. So I don't know if I want to go talk to him. It's between the prince and the guy with the glasses. I'll probably go talk to the guy with the glasses, because I don't want to interrupt the prince, depending on who she's talking to. The man noticed your attention, but it takes a few minutes before he pauses his mingling for long enough to actually approach him. He looks at you quizzically. Thomas Arturo. Pardon? It's my name. I assume you like to know. I know you. By name only, of course, B-Rhy. Embraced just a few nights ago, huh? Well, well, well. How's undeath treating you? I'm coping. It takes some getting used to, for sure. Oh, it sure does. Sure does. Good thing we have an eternity to make the best of it, right? He takes a moment to clean his glasses, completely ignoring you until he's done, and puts them back on. I'm sorry, got a bit distracted. You know most of us don't need to wear these, right? I can see just fine without them, but this is a statement. That scarf looks uncomfortable. Hey, right, ain't it choking? It's like a choker. The damned things keep catching specks of dust and other assorted shit, though. Never stay clean for long. Sometimes I think they're more trouble than they're worth, wouldn't you say? Just say they look good on you. They look good on you, really. You bet they do. Alright, that was a nice chat, but I have to catch up with few other fellows tonight. Talk to you later. Jean? Hey, Jean? Or Jeannie? He doesn't even give you a chance to say goodbye. He's already off, grabbing 2 glasses off a concierge tray and handing one to the mustachioed man nearby. You notice Sophie mingling with other kindred, clearly in her elements and not to be disturbed. Kadar hasn't come back yet, so you can probably still find time for at least one conversation. Alright, so we can still have one more conversation. Should I talk to the prince? Or should I talk to the man that's just gazing at me from afar? He probably has something interesting to say. But I don't know. I ain't trying to make Sophie mad. I'ma go with the prince. Just to... Actually, I'm thinking about not. Yeah, let's try talking to the prince. You approach the prince, trying to stay as respectful of her private conversations as possible. She glances at you as you step forward, her scrutinizing gaze mimicked by her companion. She addresses the dark-skinned woman before turning to you. Excuse me for just a moment, Samaria. Yes, B-Rhy? What is it? Give her thanks. I want to give you my thanks. I wish to thank you for sparing me, Prince. I realized it wasn't an easy decision to make, and I wanted to express my sincere appreciation. How thoughtful of you. She takes a long look at you before she continues. I didn't do it from the kindness of my unbeating heart. You are an asset to Miss Langley, to the Camarilla, and to me. I believe I made the right decision. Prove to me, and the other kindred of the city, that it was so. And there might be more to your future nights than just survival and servitude. The dark-skinned woman looks impatiently at you and catches the prince's attention. Forgive me. That's all the time I can spare right now. We have some things to discuss with Samaria still. Enjoy your night, B-Rhy. Same to you. And the same to you, Prince Bernhard. The prince nods and turns back to the other woman to continue their conversation. A loud exchange near the staircase grabs everybody's attention. Kadir is back, and the hoodlum is with him. The sheriff pushes the other vampire inside the room. The vampire that threatened you the last night is a mess. That stupid hat is still inexplicably on his head, covering some of his ruined face in the welcome shadow. He's barely conscious. His shin is broken. Damn, Kadar, you done beat him up? Well, of course he was, but you think something protruding there, making the pant leg bulge. One arm seems twisted at a strange angle. Very little blood, surprisingly, but clearly a whole lot of hurt. Well, Kadir, did our guest cooperate? Tell the prince your name. It's Howard. And who do you run with, Howard? The Midnighters. An Anarch Coterie, my prince. Active for some time now, though from what this one told me, the name is about the only legacy this group has, kept over the years. I see. Hey, Prince, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't. Loud crack smacks from some of the guests audibly gasp as Kadir's slap dislocates the man's jaw. Damn, Kadir. A spray of blood creates something like an abstract art piece on the floor. This one is guilty of threatening a member of the Camarilla and claiming a domain without the prince's approval. That alone would be enough to pass swift judgment, but he is also Anarch scum. My prince. There can only be one verdict. Final death. Do your duty, Sheriff. Unless, of course, somebody would like to play at being a good Samaritan like our dear Miss Langley a few nights ago. The looks of the prince serves you, and Sophie is a cruel jest. Sophie takes it gracefully, smiling and slipping her arm under yours in a strange public show of affection. Nobody says anything. The vampire named Howard jumps to his feet and makes for the window. I'm not gonna intervene. I ain't got nothing to do with this. Yeah, I ain't got nothing to do with this. You have a feeling Howard's efforts are fruitless. He's just a few seconds later, that feeling is confirmed. He almost reaches the window, almost, but not quite. In what seems like a blink of an eye, Kadir appears first near his scabbard sword in one corner of the gallery, and then the next to the escaping Anarch on the opposite side of the room. Sliced him up! The next moment, Howard's head flies off his body, baseball cap free. Wow. His lifeless body crumples to the ground and begins to decompose in real time. It's an uncanny sight. As always, our sheriff does not fail to impress. I would like to thank Miss Langley for bringing this Anarch thug to my and Kadar's attention. I assume all have found this verdict satisfactory? It's a rhetorical question and everybody here knows it. Then I consider tonight's meeting concluded. Good night to all of you. She steps out of the room and you see that many of the guests move to do the same. Sophie seems to be conversing with somebody, a serious-looking man in a trench coat, about what transpired. You probably have time to strike up a conversation of your own, too. Kadir Asmai, or whatever her name is still here, for one, but clearly getting ready to leave. Arturo is still here chatting with the remaining attendants. For a moment, you think the man who was looking at you earlier left, but he's still here, keeping to himself in a secluded corner. I want to talk to Kadir. He did watch out for me at my first night. The sheriff's mood seems to have improved. So you decide you won't get a better shot at saying your piece. He is just sheathing his sword as you approach him. He notices you just before his face turns from a melancholic frown back to his regular predatory smirk, his resting bitch face. Got it. You seem to have caught him in a moment of reflection. What is it, B-Rhy? I mean, I don't need to thank him for bringing me here. That was part of his job. Just say impressive work. Impressive work. I just want to say I thought your work tonight was impressive. It was over in a blink of an eye. The smirk widens. He's clearly happy with himself. He likes to kill people. A fan of my handiwork? Interesting. You were this close to experiencing it firsthand. I would have thought you'd get some nasty flashbacks. Thank you, Kador. I wonder, how does it feel to bring a lamb to the slaughter the way you did tonight? Do you feel any remorse? Regret? I'm going to enjoy guessing. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. Why does he remind me of Eddie Murphy in that? He does! That's what I was thinking in my... Yes, he definitely reminds me of Vampire in Brooklyn Eddie Murphy. Mixed with a Men in Black suit, basically. Why are you so mean? See, we could ask that question, but he got that sword in his hand, so I don't trust to ask that question. Do you enjoy being sheriff? Can you tell me something about Sophie? You know, that would be a good question. Yeah, we're going to ask about Sophie. I was wondering if you could tell me something about Sophie. She talks a lot about Camarilla and other things, but I barely know anything about her. Oh, I can tell you something about Sophie. Some things she wouldn't want you to hear, like the fact that she's manipulative and vindictive. But then again, which of us kindred aren't? You want to know more about Sophie's past? Ask her. She's unlikely to tell you the truth, though. I'm quite sure she never told me, despite our previous history. Ah, okay. Y'all had a thing going on. I see. I see. That's what we do. Fledgling. We exist for centuries, and we lie. To our families, our friends, our lovers, to our kindred, sires, and chowder, to ourselves. He picks up the sword and turns toward the stairs. Good night. He actually said me good night to me. And watch yourself. You've messed up my batting average, so I'm sure to keep a close eye on you. He really likes baseball. With that final threat, he leaves the gallery. It was less of a threat this time, though. I can deal with that type of threat. It's right about when Sophie also ends her conversation and walk over to you. Interesting evening, wasn't it? Come, Gregory's waiting downstairs. She seems preoccupied with something and not in a talkative mood. It's an awkward ride back to the city. This time you arrive in another building. Just 2 streets across from your apartment, she brings you upstairs through a very nice lobby and a luxurious-looking hall into her domain. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. You take in your surroundings. The apartment is like a gallery, an old-school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once, and a Novu Ricci's living room, meticulously combined together. Apologies, old habits die hard. Clearly, some stick with you even after death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh, yes. You might not know. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you like. Other things too. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. But I did not bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. That door in the back, the bedroom, similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards in addition, of course. I brought you here because I need you to trust me. When I told you before that I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that's not the whole story. I have your interests in mind, too. You don't even know my interests, Sophie. That's why I've given you your own haven. Why I'm trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something. When you're in trouble, too. Though I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. Trust needs to be earned. Why not discuss it right now? Why not discuss it right now? Why not talk right now since we're here together? I still need to follow up on a few things before we speak. Patience, fledgling. That silence again. There's definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share it with you just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip and a promise that you'll show up tomorrow, and some polite goodbyes later. You open the door to your haven and gather your thoughts. It's exciting in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into the secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for you is bound to teach you more about this thing you have become. You sink into your vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. All right. We're going to call it here, you guys. Interesting enough. Very interesting game. We're going to save and exit. Interesting to know what Sophie's going to have us doing in the future. But yeah, if you haven't done so, please make sure y'all express yourself by hitting that like button. Hear that beat come because we about to rock. Hear that beat. All right, let me stop. All right, express yourself by hitting that like button. And like I said, check out my previous video that I just put up yesterday of Mortal Kombat 1. This is live on the channel right now. I'm playing with some Sub-Zero and Kano. That was my first time playing the game. And we will be back next week, Mondays as usual. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because I might be busy. I don't know yet. But fingers crossed we can jump back into this come next week. And maybe finish it the week after. So, yeah. Very interesting story. I didn't know I would be having to read all of this. But if y'all think I did pretty decent at reading, I know I'm not great because I can't pronounce all them damn words they was trying to get me to say. But you know, give me a thumbs up. Let me know that, you know, my reading was decent. Makes me feel good in my stomach. But other than that, appreciate you, Jid, for coming by. Virgie, my friend, appreciate you for coming by. Let me know when next time y'all gonna stream now. Doc, also appreciate you for coming by. My boy, Johnny Nacho, appreciate you for coming by in that lurk, bro. The man Raid, appreciate you for coming by, and the first time, and nice meeting you as well. So, till then, till next week, you know, as usual, I'll be back streaming again come tomorrow. Probably jumping back into some, what is it? The whatever game I'm playing. The Japanese ghost game, whatever I'm playing. I can't remember the name of it no more. But yeah, we'll jump into that. Probably jump into some more Final Fantasy 16, Street Fighter 6, and continue that throughout the week. So once again, appreciate all y'all. Love ya. Bye-bye. That's a nice ending, right? That was a nice ending.